It's not staff. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the May 27th, 2020 meeting of the Ascension Parish Planning Commission. I would ask before we start, everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we get started, I do want to make an announcement. There was a scheduled joint planning and zoning meeting for this evening regarding a proposed SPUD. The signage on that was incorrect, and there was not enough time. The date was listed incorrectly, so we had to pull that. That will not come up until the June 10th meeting. So if you're here regarding zoning review ID PZ 2311.20, Lot A1 of the George Wren property containing 4.389 acres for Aaron McBride, located east of Highway 73, approximately 630 feet south of Southwich Village Avenue, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning code from medium intensity residential to a small planned unit development. That is not going to be heard tonight. Mr. Fournier.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's going to be delayed till the July meeting.
Oh, to the July, so that will be taken up in the July meeting. So if you're here for that, you don't need to stay because it's not going to happen. We will move on with the agenda, and I am pleased to announce we have a brand new commissioner, Ms. Shannon Hutchins, who joins us tonight for her first meeting. And Mr. Parrington, will you swear her in, please?
Yes. Ms. Hutchins, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Louisiana, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all duties incumbent upon you as a member of the Ascension Parish Planning and Zoning Commission?
I do.
Very good, and welcome aboard to our happy little commission here. There were actually two commissioners appointed at the last parish council meeting, but one of the new appointed commissioners had to resign before she could be seated. So we are let the record reflect that all appointed members are present. We need staff introduction, please.
Jamaica Banker, zoning secretary, and for Stacy.
O'Neill.
Oh, O'Neill Parrington sitting in for, parish attorney sitting in for Cody Martin.
Jerome Fournier, Director of Planning and Development.
Eric Poche, Parish Planner.
All right, and I did see Mr. Ricky Compton and John Diaz here from the parish. Thank you guys for being here from the administration. Next item on the agenda is the chairman's comments. The chair has no comments tonight. Next item is a public comment on any agenda item. We only have public hearings scheduled for some family partitions, but if you want to speak on anything else on the agenda that's not scheduled for a public hearing, now is the time. Ms. Jamaica, has anybody signed up to speak on that?
No one's.
All right, so no one signed up, so we'll move along. Number 8 on the agenda is the subdivision staff report. Mr. Poche.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, what you have in front of you is the staff report for subdivision status of May 2020. As always, anything with an asterisk by it has had a change from the previous meeting. Not much changed. If there's any questions that you guys have, I'd be happy to answer them.
Mr. Poche, question I have is regarding Parks at Water Oak. Is one of the things that we have on there is a traffic light roundabout at Bro in Germany. Is there something going on where they're looking into furthering that traffic light at Germany and Bro right now?
Yes, I can address that, council member, Mr. Shake Snyder, not council member. Yes, the applicant has hired a traffic engineer to look at putting a light there, a temporary light. The parish is looking to have that analyzed from our perspective. That presentation was made, or that analysis was made by a traffic engineer commissioned by the developer. We want to look at it from our perspective, make sure it meets all the code, make sure we're in a position to accept that. The developer is going to install it at his expense, and he's going to maintain that at his expense. It is going to be a temporary light. It will be removed when that roundabout is in place, all right, permanently in place, okay?
And is that going to handle both subdivisions,
Yes.
the one on Germany and then the one on Bro?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the developer doing the roundabout as well, or just the traffic light?
Just the traffic light.
And
The
DOTD's
roundabout,
gonna do the roundabout?
the roundabout is
Or is
part
it-
of our Move Ascension program.
Okay.
right? But the delay in it is causing the applicant or the developer to put the temporary traffic signal in place.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment.
Yes.
Yes, it's Black Bayou Estates. There seems to be some delay here. Under conditions, says no conditions, but
I agree
construction
with
meeting
you.
held back in December over a year
Yeah, Black
ago.
Bayou Estates came in and they provided documentation where they had quote-unquote begun work. So until something happens, we're just waiting for them to get started.
Okay, no delays that you know of.
No.
Right.
Any further questions? All right, moving on, we have engineering staff report, Mr. Sherrill. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval or denial of the minutes and written decisions of the March 11th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. Do I have any motion on that?
Move to
approve.
Motion by Mr. Dumas, second by Mr. Schexnayder. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Item number 11 is the consent agenda, and there are many items on the consent agenda. 11A is the affidavit of mortgage declaration for Michael Matthew Kane, lots A23 at Lakeview Drive, Geismar, Louisiana. 11B is the affidavit of mortgage declaration for Raymond L. Farr Jr., lot 343436 Weber City Road in Gonzales. Lot 11C is the affidavit of mortgage declaration for Larry Howell, tract B3A, 15371 Joe Severio Road in Gonzales. 11D is the affidavit of mortgage declaration by John Parish, lots 3A1B2, 16424 Newman Nickens Road, Prairieville, Louisiana 70769. 11E is the affidavit of mortgage declaration for Wade Patrick and Mandy Patrick, lots B4A1, 42381 Wagasback Road, Gonzales. 11F is the affidavit of mortgage declarations for the Meadows at Oak Grove LLC, tract Y3C1, the Meadows at Oak Grove, LA Highway 42 in Prairieville. 11G is the affidavit of mortgage declaration for Joni Wagasback Prejean McMorris, lot B4B1, 42399 Richard Wagasback Road in Gonzales. 11H is the final plat approval for Copperhead and Industrial Subdivision Phase 1 by MR Engineering and Surveying LLC in Council District 3. 11I is the final plat approval for Highland Trace from McLinn Taylor, Inc., Council District 11. 11J is the final plat approval for Oak Lake Subdivision, Phases 2 and 3, Quality Engineering and Surveying LLC in Council District 2. 11K is the final plat approval for the Meadows at Oak Grove, third filing, MR Engineering and Surveying LLC, Council District 7. And finally, 11L is the final plat approval for the Villas at Rosewood, a townhome development by B.M. Aguilard and Associates LLC in Council District 5. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Dumas, second by Mr. Furman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, the consent agenda passes. All right, moving on to item number 12 is a public hearing. Get to that. Public hearing to approve or deny the following family partitions. Item number 12A is Confederate Acres Subdivision, lots 3A and 3B, Earls and Associates LLC. Mr. Falgu, good to see you. I hope you have quarantined healthily.
I hope so. James Falcon representing Earls and Associates and Mr. Raymond Farr on the following family partition, asking the commission for approval.
All right, staff?
Family partition meets the requirements of the code, and there were no comments to address on the map.
All right, we'll go ahead and open a public hearing on this matter. Mr. Make, has anyone signed up to speak on this matter?
No, no one's
No one has signed up to speak, therefore we will close the public hearing. Any questions, comments, and/or motion by the commission?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Furman. Second by Mr. Chasson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Item number 11B is a public hearing to approve or deny the Ronald Parr property, lots A7A and A7B, Earls and Associates. This is in Council District 10. Mr. Falgu.
Yes, representing Mr. Ron Parr on the following family partition, asking the commission for approval.
Staff.
Yes, family partition meets the requirements of the code, and all comments have been addressed.
All right, we'll open a public hearing on this. Mr. Make, has anyone signed up to speak on
No,
this?
no one signed up.
We'll close the public hearing. Any questions, comments, and/or motion by the
Move to
commission?
approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Furman.
Second.
Second by Mr. Chasson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Item number 12C is public hearing on the Francis Richard property, lots 7B, 7B C2A, and 7B C2B. Mr. Falgood,
Yep,
third
so
time in a row.
representing Mr. Michael Bernard, on the following family partition, asking the commission for approval.
Staff?
Yes, family petition does currently meet the code, and all comments have been addressed.
All right, we'll open a public hearing on this. Ms. Jamaica, has anyone signed up to speak on this matter?
No, no one signed up.
We'll close the public hearing on this. Questions, comments, and/or motion? Motion to approve by Mr. Chasson,
Second.
second by Mr. Schexnayder. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank
And
you.
finally, thank you, Mr. Falgood. 11D is the public hearing to approve or deny the Saul Hannah subdivisions, lot B3A1A and B3A1B. And Ms. Jackson, I will say you are styling with your mask that is suitably tailored to your attire.
Thank you. Ellen Jackson with McLean Taylor, representing the family partition for Soul Hannah subdivision, asking for your approval.
All right, staff?
Yes, the subdivision meets requirements of the family partition, and there were no comments to address on the map.
All right, we will open a public hearing on this, and seeing as we have dwindled down to NASCAR fandom with nobody in the audience, I'm assuming no one signed up to speak on this?
No, no one signed
We'll close the public hearing.
Motion
Questions?
to approve.
Who can deny such a fashionable?
Wins on fashion alone. Do you have a
She-
mask
she
for
gets the checkered flag.
every outfit? You have a coordinated mask.
I do.
That I can support. Motion by Mr. Dumas,
Second.
second by Mr. Schexnayder. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes, and that gets us to the end of the agenda.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Dumas. We will reconvene in a few minutes with the zoning commission. Planning commission adjourned.